Okay, we're back. We're back. So where were we? I guess there's no rest for the weary here because we're going right into another video, which is very nice. I'll just string them together. Um, so these are arpeggio charts that I'm using, but you can use them to do the building blocks for the diatonic scale. So once again, I'm just going to review 1, 2, 3. That we got a big fat S3S here. When I say big fat, I mean this is easy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2. And this is this chart right here. This is this mini 7L. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2. Okay? It just starts anywhere. Let's say I'm doing it in the key of G. Okay, well now you're in somewhere else. Now you're on the 3, so you would go. Okay, the first this starts on the root. If you want to start something on the root, okay, it's going to be a little more difficult because you want to go back to the 7. It's going to be the top of the S3S, so it'd be like. Sorry. I messed it up. It's the top of the S3S, so it's. And then it repeats the same half step, whole step. Why? Because this is a half step, whole step here that you go into, which sits on top of the S3S. Then the S3S is going to sit on top of the S2L. And then again, they stack up. So here's half step, whole step, goes to half step, whole step before it changes. Now when you go from this guy back to this one, it's whole step, half step, goes to whole step, half step when it changes again. So it would be fairly simple if it wasn't for the warp. So what happens because of the warp? Okay, where were we? What were we doing? We were talking about this S3S. We were talking about in the E shape here, okay? Where you got to go down here and start from the 7th on the E shape. So what's happening? That's the top of the S3S, bottom of the S2L, top of the S2L, bottom of the S3S is the same, whole step, half step. Now when we go to the 5, the red note's going to be up here. It's the warp. You say, but it's shaped like this. What do you mean up here? Up where? It's up here with the guitar tuning. So this is the bottom. This is the start of the S3S here. Okay, which goes 2, 3, 4. Here's an F. Okay, 2, 3, 4. I got a feel for the strings. So we are going over. We're over again. Once we're past the warp, we go back to 4th tuning. So the 4th of G is C. Okay, where are we? Okay, we are 4 minutes. Oh, well, we're doing pretty good. Okay, we've got a ways to ramble. So what are the patterns involved here? The patterns are the things to learn, the arrangement of the patterns. So, and this defines the cage shape itself, and that's going to be one of my next studies. Is going to be, exactly how the patterns march up. They march up the fretboard as you go along, like soldiers, or they march down the fretboard. So, like the E shape would go to the D in cage, C-A-G-E-D. E goes to D, right? Well, I guarantee you, D is going to, when you get to the D shape, it's going to be something like that, push down more, or something like this coming up. I'm not sure which. You don't want to get confused without the chart. So let's not try to do any guesswork. That's why we use the charts. Focus on what we're talking about. So that's what every time, anywhere, whether it's a C, E-shaped bar, or a barred A, or a barred G. But actually, in your guitar, you would hear it 2 whole steps down, because my guitar is just down tuned 2 whole steps. But the grid itself is done in E, and it's done that way. In other words, if I turn my knobs and tighten these strings up, I could tune right up to an E guitar, and still this double dot would be the E pitch. I prefer to play in C, so that's how I started on my other guitars, and I made this one in E. This is the first E tuned guitar I've had in like 10 years. I call it tuned, but it's not tuned. It's the inlays that are in E. So that's what this chart's about. It gives you that kind of approach to it, that if you're going to do the C down here, you're going to do an S2L on the bottom into an S3S, warp. It's going to go warp into the top of the S3S, okay, which is 7 root 2. Let's try one more time. C starts right here with an S2L. Then we go into an S3S, okay? Okay, like that. Apparently I did the warp. Okay, I did the warp, but I was lucky there. You have to account for the warp, and that's what this chart is about. Is just internalizing that a C shape is going to have that long guy on the bottom. And we all did this when we were learning caged. Oh, C has got the long guy on the bottom, and then it goes to this guy on the top, okay? And that kind of thing. And there's reasons for that, believe me. But to know it as a pattern, that hey, this long guy is always the third. So what do these letters mean? Let's talk about the shapes. We can move on to this. The C shape always starts the bottom string. Some people call it string number 6. I call it string number 1. It's the bass string. It's the low E string. It always the C shape. This guy always starts on the 3rd. That's why there's a 3 there. Okay, and then you go up to the 5th here. The bottom string of the A shape is always the 5th. The bottom string of the G shape is always the 6th, which is A. Now look at the shape of that note. Okay, if you look at a piano keyboard, okay, we're getting there. We've got 9 minutes. You look at a piano keyboard, that 6 right there You see how that is kind of an A-shaped keyboard? An A, you see is like that, and D is like, kind of like, God.